What's up, everyone? I'm here with my NFL Week 4 DraftKings recap and lineup review. It was a pretty fun to watch Week 4, in my opinion. We had upsets like we usually do. This is kind of an average week, though, in terms of predictions, I think. I think a lot of what we expected to happen came to fruition. And then I think, as always, there was some guys who surprised us, some players who disappointed us. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at my cash game lineup this week. Okay, so we're looking at my cash game team here, putting up 133 fantasy points. A little bit disappointing considering, this was a week for me where I was looking at the right players for the most part. I just never really had the right combination of lineup. You can see here I wasn't even 10 points out of the money. That said, I'm not going to consider this lineup a complete failure because I actually won quite a bit of my head-to-heads with this lineup, which is kind of interesting. So maybe I just got a little bit lucky on my matchups or whatever. But so yeah, let's talk about it. So first up, Tyrod Taylor, 10% owned. A little bit surprised he was that high. But with that said, this game just went the worst possible way it could have for people who were playing Tyrod. 12 fantasy points isn't awful, but he only threw the ball 20 times in this game, which is actually the fewest on the season so far for him. He also only ran the ball 7 times, which once again is the lowest on the season for him. And the Bills still won this game, so that shows you they were forcing turnovers. McCoy was okay. I haven't really seen his stat line too much. But honestly, it was just a disappointing game for Tyrod because he just didn't need to throw the ball that much. I talked about it a lot, especially on my Saturday live stream. If you missed that, check the Twitch link in the description. I should be streaming again this Saturday, where I kind of do my weekly roundup of players I like and different things like that. Anyway, yeah, I talked about how when Tyrod Taylor throws the ball over 30-plus times, his DK points per game just skyrockets. Honestly, since he didn't even get close to that number, it really, really hurt his production, I think. Yeah, like I said, I just really envision this game going differently for the Falcons at home. I don't think the Falcons are as good as they were last year for sure because, even after this loss, they very easily could have 3 losses on the season already. They should have lost against the Lions. They should have lost against the Bears in week 1. So this Falcons team is lucky their record is what it is right now. That said, I still thought they would have had enough to kind of put up Buffalo, especially after Buffalo had the emotional home win against the Broncos. I thought they would have, maybe not let down here, but at least have to really put up a lot of points to down this Falcons team. I didn't go that way. Moving to the running back spot, this was the spot that I kind of not really fought with, but kind of mulled over. For a while, I had Gurley and Leonard Fournette here, and obviously that would have cashed me. If I would have went Gurley and Fournette here, I would have cashed. I decided to go Elliott and Cook because I thought they were both slightly safer. Unfortunately, Cook went down with that non-contact knee injury. Looks like he probably tore his ACL or something with his MCL. Hopefully he's okay. Was shocked to see Dalvin Cook as chalky as he was. Like, I did not hear him getting talked up that often. Maybe I just wasn't listening to the right people or what, but I just did not hear Dalvin get talked up that much. He was a good play for sure, and he was obviously en route to a pretty solid fantasy day. A little bit surprised he didn't get more involved in the passing game up to that point. But, very disappointing to see him go down. Elliott, he played well. There's a couple guys in head-to-heads that I faced that actually played not only Ezekiel Elliott, but also played Gurley. I cannot believe people played Gurley and Elliott in the same cash game lineup. Like, that just blows my mind. Like, I just... Like, in GPPs, I thought that was a good play, but in cash games, I did not think that was going to be the right play. So props to those guys for going and doing that because I just did not think that was the right play. So yeah, no big complaints at the running back position. Obviously, Dalvin didn't want to get injured, so I can't be upset with that, And even 13 points, he was still able to, somewhat salvage. Ezekiel Elliott, the guy still put up nearly 30 points. Can I really be disappointed in that? It's really the wide receiver position where I kind of missed a little bit, specifically in Emmanuel Sanders. I would have expected a lot more out of him. Really weird game for Emmanuel Sanders. He did get some targets, but, he caught like one ball that was tipped up by a lineman or something. He caught it behind the line of scrimmage for like negative 10 or 12 yards or something crazy. Didn't get, I don't think did he have any red zone targets? I don't know. Actually, I think that one ball that was actually tipped up was technically in the red zone, but can we really count that? So I thought Sanders was going to play a lot better. I did kind of envision this game being like a 17-10 type game. I certainly didn't envision Derek Carr throwing a 64-yard touchdown pass for the only touchdown for the Raiders. On that side of the ball, I certainly did not see that coming, but certainly didn't see him getting injured either. Hopefully he can heal up. If it's just back spasms, he should be fine. But yeah, like that's one of the reasons I did not play Trevor Siemian in this spot. I did not want to target him too much, but I still thought it was a pretty good spot to maybe get one of the receivers for the Broncos and hope they could go, have a pretty good game. 27% owned. I was a little bit surprised that he was as low as he was, but Fitzgerald was able to salvage with that late touchdown, but still, he was so highly owned that it really didn't help me. Like if I could have had Sanders get me that touchdown instead of Fitzgerald, I probably would have been a lot closer to the line here, but still probably wouldn't have cashed. DeAndre played well. A little bit surprised he wasn't even higher owned, honestly. Like I guess Will Fuller scared a little bit of people away. By the way, somebody asked me on like Friday or something it was if Will Fuller was a good play. I apologize for my poor Will Fuller take. I think what I specifically said, though, was like he wasn't a good GPP play, but I thought that, he was a good GPP play, but was not a good, safe enough cash game play. Same with Tyler Kroft. Somebody asked me about Tyler Kroft. I was not on Tyler Kroft at all. Like I thought that was kind of like a trap play. He was so cheap, and like Browns are just really bad against tight ends, but I just didn't think that Dalton would throw him the ball, but it is what it is. Then we have Evan Ingram. He played pretty well. Can't complain too much about him. Really would have liked him to get in the end zone. But then we have Rashard Matthews. Like, really surprised this game got out of hand as fast as it did. I mean, Matthews was... I'm not disappointed that Matthews didn't get me, more than 10 points. Like, I saw it coming. The real thing that hurt us here, though, was that Bilal Powell just absolutely smashed. Like, I had Powell, like actually what I had for a while was Fournette, Gurley, and Powell in the flex, and then I think I went with the Jags defense, and I went somewhere else, like I can't remember specifically, but if I would have went with that lineup instead, obviously I would have scored a lot more points, probably would have been like the 170 to 180 range, maybe a little bit less, regardless. It is what it is. This is the lineup I decided to go with, and it was the wrong lineup, so I can't blame anybody but myself. I'm not going to show any GPP lineups this week. Like, I had some actually pretty high scoring ones, but they weren't anything special. I didn't have any super low owned players in them that went off or anything like that, so I don't consider this week a failure. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a week where, once again, I was looking at the right players, which is all we can really ask for. I just did not get that right combination of lineup out there, so... because, I was on A.J. Green, I was on Gurley, I was on Fournette, I was on all these other guys who did really well. I was on, Deshaun Watson, of course. Hopefully next week I can, kind of, not be too indecisive. That Gurley and Fournette lineup, I keep talking about it, but that was the line. That was like one of the first cash game builds I went with. So maybe I should, kind of go with my first gut instinct on most of these cash lineups. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave it a like. I'll be back here on Wednesday for my main picks video. Check out my sleeper/value picks video that will be on Friday. And now I want to start trying to live stream every Saturday night or so, somewhere around there if I have the time to do it. So be sure to follow my Twitch link in the description below. Anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.